Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, Steve Roy here, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you listening. I know there are 1,000,001 dad podcasts out there, 1,000,002 fitness podcasts. So the fact that you're spending your time listening to what I have to say means a lot. So I really do appreciate it. And so, we're just kicking off the new year here. I don't think a lot has changed other than the actual date here. I mean, 2020 was a shit show. And so my goal for everybody, including myself, my clients, members of the Fit Dad Nation, is to really have the best year that you can despite what's happening. And so I've been doing some thinking about this, and I put together a short list of things that I think are going to help you tremendously throughout the year. And so this is kind of my short list for you to do. And if you make these 7 things your focus for 2021, I honestly believe you could have the best year of your life from a fitness and health standpoint. And so first of all, and I'm going to jump right into it. First of all, I will say that you have to recognize that there's a very, very strong chance that you're going to have setbacks, failures, you're going to fall off the wagon, and you have to be okay with that because life gets in the way. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been coaching dads exclusively for a number of years. And it's very rare to see a dad that's just incredibly consistent across the board over a long period of time, myself included. I go in waves like pretty much everybody else. And so I don't want you to beat yourself up when you fall off the wagon or get sidetracked or end up, losing your momentum, even losing your progress, your gains, whatever. You have to recognize that, we're busy men. We have families, we have careers, we have a lot of stuff going on. And unless you have just a tremendous amount of extra time and energy, chances are something's going to come up and you're going to get sidetracked and thrown off course. I mean, that's normal. So I don't want you to beat yourself up. Just you have to deal with it, right? You have to get over it. You have to deal with it. Realize you are not a failure, right? You're not a failure. And you just have to keep pushing forward. So I want you to just remember that going into the year is, I don't care how motivated you are right now, how committed you are, whether you're doing the 75 hard, whether you're doing something else. At some point this year, it's almost, the odds are really against you to be 100% consistent with on your fitness program, your fitness goals, all that stuff. It's just very, very unlikely. I'm not saying that it can't happen. Of course it can happen, but it's extremely unlikely. And I'm a realist. I'm not a rah-rah, fuck it, let's just do it. You need to be better than that. Suck it up. That may sound great. That may, sell programs on Instagram, but, I'm a realist and I've seen it in my own life many times over the years. I do this for a living. I have a lot of time because I work from home and I work for myself. I set my own schedule and I still struggle, and I have it better than most, and I do this for a living. So, I know the struggles are extremely real. I don't beat myself up. I don't consider myself a loser or a failure or anything like that because I get way off course and I feel like a piece of shit for a while. I just recognize that something has taken my eye off what I'm trying to do, and I just get back there. All right. Number 2, I want you to find a way to train despite the fucking madness that's out there, the COVID-19, the new strains, the lockdowns, the closures, the fact that you can't buy a dumbbell or a kettlebell online, like all that shit. You have to find a way to figure it out. And, I would say 90% of the population, maybe even more, would do just fine with body weight training alone. And most of the men, the vast majority of men that I coach that are in my groups, aren't elite athletes, right? They don't have to have a bunch of heavy weights to make progress. They're, regular dudes. And a lot of guys haven't been like super consistent and maybe haven't even worked out in a while, years even. So yeah, you don't need a whole bunch of fancy equipment, a gym membership, any of that stuff. You need your body, and you need the commitment to do it, and a little bit of time and direction. So that's my goal for you. Number 2 is to find a way. And believe me, and you've heard it before, it's obviously cliche, but there's always a way. There's always time. There's always a way. If you don't want it, you'll find an excuse. I mean, you will every single time. You'll always find an excuse. But, this show is for people that do want it. Because if you listen to this and you don't want it, you don't give a shit, you are listening to the wrong show. I'm not here to motivate you or inspire you to get off your ass at this particular moment. I want you have to want it. Like deep commitment to wanting to be better. And then we can go from there. All right. Number 3, I'm not going to ask you to completely change your diet. You don't need to overhaul everything that you're eating. You don't need to go keto, carnivore, paleo, blah, blah, blah. You don't need any of that stuff. What I would tell you is you need to eat better. So my goal for myself, for you, is to eat at least 50% better. So that means cutting out 50% of the shit that is not helping you, right? I'm a believer in good foods and bad foods. There's a lot of shit on social media that says there are no bad foods, right? All foods are created equal. A calorie is a calorie, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that. I think there are bad foods. And I think it's either hurting you or helping you. It's either getting you closer to your goals or getting you farther away. And you have to choose which one you're going to do. So don't overwhelm yourself with like, oh my God, I can't eat another carb all year or whatever. That's fucking bullshit. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to go extreme. You don't have to cut out everything that you love. It doesn't even work long term. It's hard on your psyche. It's a test of willpower, constant willpower, and at some point, because it's a finite resource, it will break, and you'll find yourself fucking pigging out of Dunkin' Donuts. That's unnecessary. But cut out half the shit that you're eating right now, and I promise that you'll feel better. You will make progress, and then that will create a snowball effect where, yes, you'll start improving other things in your life. You'll start eating better by nature because you want to feel good again, right? Because if you've been eating garbage for a long time, it's just, the standard American diet, the sad diet, you have no idea how good your body's supposed to feel. You don't, because you can't. Like, your body is drained. It's short of nutrients. It's high in a lot of garbage. And yeah, you're not going to even feel close to your best. So when that stuff is out of your system, or a lot of it's out of your system, and you start replacing it with really high quality foods, you'll absolutely feel better. And then you're like, oh my God, I've been missing this. Like, when you wake up and your head is clear and you're not bloated, and you're like, man, I feel good. All right. And that's a great place to be. And a lot of guys aren't there, and they haven't been there for a very long time. But I want you to start this year by just cleaning up your diet by 50%. I will tell you also, number 4 on my list is move as much as possible, sit as little as possible, right? They say sitting is the new smoking. I believe it, right? And sitting, if you read some of the research, the articles, you'll see that sitting has been linked to a lot of health issues. And I think one of the main ones, it is our posture. And, I don't know how many guys I've seen or coached that struggle with good posture, and that, that creates a whole host of other problems as far as moving well. And it takes a while to correct, and you have to really do some specific things. But I would say do your absolute best to get out there and move more. Like, there's this thing called 52 hikes that is a challenge out there online that you commit to a hike every week. There are countless free challenges, rucks, runs, walks, all that stuff is out there for you. And I would say start looking, start digging. We do a lot of awesome stuff inside the Inner Circle. That's our private membership program. We do monthly challenges. We're going to be getting ready to start a ruck club. And we have all kinds of stuff happening in there, which will keep you moving and active. But there's, obviously a million resources out there. But I would say stop spending so much time in the seated position, and I don't even think it's so much people sitting on their asses watching television. I mean, sure, that happens, once in a while, but I'm talking about like during the day when you're if you have a job that requires you to be in front of a computer, and I'm in front of the computer a lot, but I have to get up all the time, and you have to make a conscious effort to get up, walk, move, stretch. I do dedicated mobility every day, and I take a lot of walks. I'm moving a lot. I'm hiking a lot, even in the cold weather, and you just have to do it. You're going to feel better. It's going to help every part of your body, so make that one of your goals. Number 5, and this might even have been, if this was in order, it's not, but if it was in order, this would have probably been first because it's so critical, and it's overlooked by so many guys. And I've had this conversation with so many men and clients over the years, and that's putting yourself first. We as dads want to be martyrs. We feel like everyone comes in front of us, and that's how a lot of us live. That's how I lived for a very long time. And while it may seem noble, it's not helping you, and it's not helping your family, despite what you might think. And I speak from experience. I'm not judging anybody that does that, because I spent over a decade like that when I was married. I really took no time for myself, and I was a miserable person. Not only was I out of shape, and I just didn't have much confidence, but I was just miserable because I was spending all my time doing things for other people, and I had a job that I hated at the time, and so there wasn't a lot of positive things that I was doing for myself, like very few. And so I suffered. My relationship suffered. Me as a father suffered. And so I've shared this story before, is that after I got separated, and I went through a pretty rough time for quite a while, I decided to recommit to my health. And so I did that. And I won't go into the whole story here, but recommitting to my health was the catalyst to changing my life, starting with the Fit Dad Nation. And ultimately today, this is now, 8 years later, my relationship with my girls, who are now 15 and 12, is the best it's ever been. We're so close, and that's because I made that decision years ago to really step up my game, not only as a father, but commit to myself, and try to live the healthiest, live the best, feel the best about myself. Feel good in my own skin, inside and out. And because I did that, I was much more engaged and active with them, and they see what I do every day, and they learn from that, and we talk about it, and I share a lot of my struggles with them, and a lot of different things, and so they understand why I'm doing this, and why I coach dads for a living, and it's really important to me. And so just please understand that it's not selfish if you take time for yourself, and I would say that it's selfish if you don't. I honestly believe that. You have to put yourself first, because you can't take care of your family the best way possible if you can't even take care of yourself. And that's what it is. All right. Number 6, I would say this year, I don't want you to be the lone wolf this year. I don't want you to think that you're going to go out and do this by yourself, that you're all alone, and because it doesn't work. I want you to find your tribe. We've got a phenomenal group of men. We've got about 50 dads in the inner circle right now. It's a great group of guys with no egos that can share what's going on in their lives and take from each other, help each other out, be there for each other, call each other out on their bullshit when they need to. And it's a home for a lot of guys. A lot of guys don't have a tribe outside of this, myself included. I don't have a very select few friends. And so, that's just, it happens. I remember having a conversation last year with Larry Hagner, who runs the Dad Edge Alliance, great group of dads. He was on the podcast with me, and we talked about why men thrive in tribes. It's an awesome show. You should listen to it. And it's true. It's absolutely true. When you find your people, it doesn't have to be the inner circle, of course. There's a million groups out there for whatever you might like, whatever your interests are. A lot of great groups. And so you need to find your tribe. And I would say this year, make it your goal, one of your goals, to find your peeps. If you're interested in learning more about the Fit Dad Nation Inner Circle, check out fdnic.com. You can apply if it sounds like something that you would be interested in, and we'll chat and see if it's a good fit. But I'd love to be able to at least chat with you about it. And then lastly, I will say, find a coach probably sounds like a plug for me. I'm actually not looking for clients right now, but it kind of sounds like that. I honestly believe that you need, or you don't need it, but you would be very wise to find a quality coach that can help you get you to where you want to go, right? As men, we have egos. We want to do it ourselves. We don't want to be told what to do. We don't want to pay somebody. Like, I have no problems paying someone to come paint my house, fix my dishwasher, change my tires, right? A lot of men will not do that because their ego. They're the man. They should be able to do that shit, right? I want to do that, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But that's not my personal how I live. I'd rather pay someone that knows what they're doing rather than me trying to learn how to do it and then doing it myself and spending that time. It's just how I've always been. But when it comes to fitness, like, I know how to lift, I know how to get in shape, right? But you don't. This is not a dig on you. A lot of you listening, you don't know what you're doing, and you're hopping from one program to another, finding workouts every day or every morning on some app or YouTube. You're bouncing on diets. You're getting information from people that have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. You just have to make better choices when it comes to that stuff. And there are a lot of good coaches. There are a lot of bad coaches, but there are a lot of good coaches out there. And and I can honestly say that I think some of my clients over the years that have had the best success are those that came to me, men and women, and said, Steve, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Right? They're coachable. They want to learn. They've put down that ego. I've had big, strapping, bearded dudes come to me and say, please tell me what to do. I'm not getting anywhere. I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me. If you tell me to do this, I will do this. And I'm not saying you have to do it like that, but I am saying that it makes sense to find someone that really knows what they're doing and can guide you to where you want to go, right? I mean, the way I look at it is, would you want to try to be your own lawyer, doctor, mechanic, pilot? No, right? Why are you trying to be your own, coach, fitness trainer? Find somebody that spent years learning about the human body, how it works, nutrition, physiology, anatomy, that understands the biomechanics and can help you put a program in place or help you with your nutrition or whatever it is you're struggling with. And leave it to the experts to help you get there. So those are the things that I want you to focus on this year. And again, this isn't anything earth-shattering. I've talked about all of these things before separately. And, I'm a big believer that simplicity works best. These are 7 things that are all, pretty straightforward, pretty basic. I'm not telling you to take any kind of crazy supplements or you have to do any hardcore challenges or you don't have to do any of that stuff. Can they help? Sure. Certain things can help. But at the end of the day, for the average guy who is not training for some specific event, you're not an endurance athlete, right? You're not trying to get down to 6% body fat or see shredded abs, right? You're just, a dad that wants to look better, feel better, have more energy, have better sex, be more attractive to their wife, right? We want those things, and this is how you get there, right? So, if you have any questions, if you ever have any questions at all, you want to chat, about joining the inner circle, about what we do, you can always hit me up at steve@fitdadnation.com. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.